Hello friends, hello. Welcome to this, the fourth and final video in our excellent SkinGen Masterclass series with Character Creator, in which I will divulge the secret processes to designing a character like this. I'll show you many arcane and dark digital arts. In the description, you'll find links to the rest of the videos in this series in case you missed them. Today, we're going to add our final details to the character, especially the details of the skin. We are going to incorporate materials from Texturing.xyz. And we're going to add the fireworks or the high-res details with SkinGen. It's going to be fun. Let's do it. Let's hide our clothes so we've got just the body here. Let's take a moment to appreciate the level of detail and the quality of the skin and textures we've done in the past videos. We're going to go to Texturing.xyz, or XYZ if you're Canadian, and grab some materials. This is an extremely high-quality resource, especially for skin textures. For the micro details, I'm going to use this one, and I'll use something like this for the facial details. For the hand, I've chosen this interesting texture here. And I actually want to highlight the texture of the elbow as well. From the material editor, we select the head. We go to the lower part there where the digital human shader maps live, and then we double-click on the micro normal and select the micro details TGA file. We can check the pattern of the texture if we open it in Photoshop. Once it's loaded, we can zoom in a bit and see the subtle changes. And we can use the additional options for tiling and strength. See how it looks. The idea is to age the skin a little by making the pattern of skin wrinkles seem a little bit bigger. And as usual, we can repeat this process with the other body parts micro-normals that we have. Now, we're going to create a new normal map using all of our facial details. With the head selected, we activate the UV reference box, and it'll open your image editor. I'm using Photoshop. Now, I'll do the same thing, but this time with the base color map, and you click Launch. Next step is to make a new document in 4K. And what we'll do is we'll include these two textures that we've taken from Character Creator in our new document. These will serve as the reference for the geometry and the colors. I'll put the UV layer on top of everything, and in blending mode there, I'm going to use linear dodge. Next, we open the facial PSD file. As you can see, this one comes in kind of an arbitrary organization, and it's in really big dimensions. With the lasso tool, the lasso tool, we make a selection of the individual parts, and we make a copy. And then we paste it on top of our document. Then I lock the top layer and I scale the copied object down to the forehead position. The goal here is to shape the object to try to synchronize it with the shape of our base mesh and color. I'm trying to make it follow the curve of the forehead. For this, we can use the wrap tool. Once it's in place, we can create a mask on this layer and lower the flow and opacity attributes of the brush. Then we can create a layer below with a gray tone of the original map. And finally, we can begin to paint on the mask in black to smooth the edges and blend it with the background. After that, we go back and repeat the process. This time, it'll be for the lower eye area and the cheek, including the expression line there. We copy and paste it and basically repeat the process. Positioning, deforming, masking, and adjusting to blend with the background. We repeat this process with all the pieces that make up the face. When we're done, we can merge all the layers down. You can get rid of the black layer and the base color. Then we can apply some adjustments to the levels. And finally, we can generate a normal map from this image. Press OK and export the image in PNG format. Now, we're going to perform a similar process with the arm textures. We open up the UV reference, the base color, and we put them in a new document. And later on, you open up the palm texture of the hand, and with the lasso, you make a selection in the same way we did with the textures of the face. In the end, remember to merge the layers and brighten your levels up a little bit, and apply the normal map filter and export everything. There's two important things to do before continuing. First, I'll export the mascara texture that I made in Substance. Just simply hide the layers of color that we don't need, and I'll save it in my texture folder. Then, I'm going to draw a mask following the UV of the face, like the one we're seeing right now. Pro tip, you can actually use the headshot masks that come with Character Creator and edit them with a brush in Photoshop if you want to work even quicker and refine it for your needs. Next up, we'll activate the fancy new SkinGen Appearance Editor and navigate to the Skin Element Library. First, we'll work on the head. So we select it from the material drop-down here. Then we select the part option and drag the part normal to the scene. We select the right layer, and we load our mask we made from the headshot template mask. We're going to replace the default normal map there with the one we made in Photoshop. If anything looks weird, try using Flip Normal Y. The other thing I recommend is to soften the edges of these masks that are already here and paint over the numbers with white. Now we just repeat this step for each body part. Boom! This time with the arm. We select the arm UV, add in the normal map. For this one, actually, we don't need a mask, so we'll just import the normals, then compare the influence of the normal layer by activating and deactivating it. And finally, we just adjust the strength as we see fit. There's something really useful you can do with these custom textures, and that's to save them in the content library so you can use them later. I'll show you with the facial texture how that's done. First, you select the UV that you want. Right-click on the layer to assign a category, and in this case, we go to the Normal Effects option, and we set it to Face Levels. By double-clicking on the layer's letters there, you can change its name. Now, we go to the corresponding category in the content library. We look for the Levels folder, and from the Custom tab, we press the Add button. You can change the thumbnail by right-clicking and selecting Capture Thumbnail. And to test out our new custom layer, let's just check out a new model. You can pick any CC3 Plus model and add your skin effect and see how it looks. You can toggle it on and off, as I like to do, whoop, whoop, and get a feel for it. The next step is to enhance the texture of our raised tattoo here. Let's insert a decal into the scene. In the opacity option, we insert the facial mask we made in Substance. Then we load the original base color. We can assign the normal map, we adjust the hardness, and finally, we assign the roughness in its respective place as well. We can play around with the values a little bit. I just slide things around until I like how they look. That's really all there is to it. And then you'll learn what you like and what you don't like. We did the same process for the body texture. We add a decal. We add the opacity mask. the color texture, the normal map, and the roughness texture. I always adjust the brightness values so everything's tone matches. And then you repeat the same process with the arm texture. So you know what? My tattoo textures are really cool. I want to keep them in the library to use for later. I just have to keep in mind that this whole tattoo set is actually spread over 3 different UVs, so I have to repeat the process properly for each UV. We'll start with the head. Right-click on the decal layer, look in the Skin Details category, and select Other Decal. And then assign a name to the layer. Now, we'll do exactly the same with the body, but this time, the name will be Body Decal. I know, weird, right? The last one will be the arm, and your name will be something crazy like, oh, I don't know, Arm Decal. Next, to the content library, we look for the Skin Details category. Then Decal, and from Custom, we add a new one. We capture a thumbnail and assign a name, and boom, we're done. Now let's check out how this applies to a new character. You can just open any model up and apply our custom tattoo decal. Check it out, looking good, buddy. Moving along, let's get to the Skin Details panel, Skin Noise. Let's assign a texture, and you can see that it's embedded in our model, a kind of barely perceptible noise, but it matches the skin tone. This effect applies to the whole body, so it's not necessary to reapply it once you change UVs. Let's play around a bit with the tone values, and let's mess with the noise values as well. Then from the blemish panel, let's add some moles. And we can modify the scale, can change the shade. The next step is to add a normal map to create some detail in the lips. We can increase the strength of the texture, age them up a little bit. Then we will include a few details to highlight the nails. The idea is to generate a little contrast and a little noise and give them a more worn, realistic look. At this point, you have the freedom to change the shades of each finger. Do whatever you want. Let's head back to the details panel, and you can add a layer of facial shine. We can adjust the brightness values to make them look nice and oily. And then I always just play around with all the sliders to see what they do and what stuff looks like. Hair, let's do hair. Who wants to be bald? Actually, I'm bald. I'm sorry, bald is beautiful. Let's add hair for fun and dream of our youth when we had hair. I modeled different long flowing locks before, so I won't keep this hair for the final version, but I just wanted to show you how you could do it if you so wanted. We can also add a facial scar. People love scars. I'm going to select a simple one that doesn't stand out too much. The idea is to position it more or less in the upper outer part of the eyebrow, and I can adjust the color to be more like the surface of the skin. You can even make a duplicate of a layer and modify its visual properties just a little bit. Save you some time. Because scars are so cool, I'm going to add some to his torso. Make him look like he's been in some battles, tell the story of his character through his visual design. Maybe I'll put tons of scars on, who knows? It just depends on how tough this guy is. Later on, you can add veins via normal map along the forearms. This guy has good blood pressure, low body fat, he jogs every day. Once you're done having fun, you can deactivate the appearance editor and check out the results of your hard work. Looking fancy fresh! Congratulations me for making such a cool looking demon guy. But you know what? Sad to say, that's it for this series. I hope you learned a whole bunch of new kind of cool tips and stuff like that. And you can take all of this stuff and just run with it. Just do whatever you want. The world is your oyster. Thank you so much.